everyone, and welcome to High Performing Coaches and Coaches Making Impact. I am Aneri Bellamy, your communication and connection coach, and I am here with Trish. And like always, we've been chatting a little bit before the interview started, and I feel like I've known her forever, and it's the first time we've actually had a conversation other than the inbox on Facebook. So I love the synergy, and I'm so blessed that all the coaches and service providers that come through Coaches Making Impact have that kind of synergy with me. So thank you, Trish, so much for being on the line with us today.
So happy to be here, Neri. Thanks so much for having me.
So we're going to go right into that first question so we can get our chat started. And that question is, who are you purposed to serve?
Oh, God, that's a great question. You know, high achieving entrepreneurs is who I serve at the core. And honestly, my journey started out very broad. So I started out in functional medicine. I call myself the soulful nutritionist.
Right.
And I was there for quite a while as more of a clinician and a practitioner. And then what I realized through using functional medicine as a tool is that it is just that. It is just a tool, and deep spiritual work and personal development and mindset work is really, really important for those that are always striving for better and more and tend to be doers. And so what I've done now is I've merged both soul and science to bring about lasting transformation through frameworks and protocols for high achieving entrepreneurs. So it's really those that are always looking out for more, wanting to be better, because what I realized in that journey, I felt really alone, as I am one of those people. And there's great coaches out there, but the reality was I needed a reflection back for myself. I needed someone to hold the mirror, and that really actually is ourselves. But I needed a really talented person to offer and question my process and my path. And I happened to find that, but that's really what I hold now. I hold space for people that need that too.
I totally understand that. My mentor did that for me. So I someone to just reassure you that this big vision that you have, that you are enough to fill it. Like, you're not crazy,
You're not crazy. And let's kind of reverse engineer it a little bit. Sometimes I think we get so excited, especially as visionaries, and we like jump from A to Z. And
right.
then in between all of that, we feel with overwhelm and, analysis paralysis. And I'm not sure where to put my foot down again. And if I do that, it's not going to be fast. And all these narratives start going in our minds.
Right.
And that's where some of the juicy stuff is, because we can rewire that. But we need someone just to, kind of stand by our side and say, okay, let's examine this. Let's put all the puzzle pieces on the table. And for me personally, I really, it got to a point where, like I said, I was successful in functional medicine, and yet it was out of alignment for me at one point. Again, it's a tool, it's a really healthy tool, but I needed someone to help witness my pivot and help me really put those puzzle pieces back together in who I was now. Because, sometimes we don't allow ourselves to change as high achievers too. It's like we think we get stuck in one box, and it's like, oh gosh, how do I talk to people that way? Well, guess what? Your clients are people, and they want you to do just that. Like, just tell them what's going on.
Right. I love that, because, a lot of people say, everything's not meant for the public and you have to be careful about transparency. But I believe that there's purpose in every piece of your testimony. And when you leave bits and pieces of it out, you're cheating the people that you're meant to serve and help and impact.
That's huge. That's huge. You're cheating the people who you're meant to serve and have an impact. I agree with that. And of course, I believe in like tasteful, sharing and whatnot. But I think, business is a reflection of life.
Right.
It just is. And so the more humanness we can offer people, especially in the coaching realm, right? I think, we put ourselves in boxes where we position ourselves to be experts, of which we are. We spent time learning. We've spent time in our life curriculum, either good or bad, learning. But the thing is, when we're in an engagement with someone, it's truly a co-creation. And when we are acting out of our highest self, there's an equal playing field. We are believing that our clients really know best for themselves. It's just us guiding them to that spot, to that alignment that is also matched with integrity, so they can pull it out of themselves and own it, and then transmute it from the mind all the way through the body,
Right.
and then out into the world. So yeah, that's a big belief of mine too.
Yeah, absolutely love it. And I love the synergy because we've actually somewhat answered my next question, which was going to be, what is it about your life story that makes
Mm.
this your purpose?
Oh gosh. Okay.
Mhm.
You said don't keep it quick, so I'll give you like the rundown, because I got into functional medicine because I have 3 kids. My second child was born with special needs. He's going to be 17 tomorrow. They told us he was going to die at birth. So that, I quote, saved him, even though I think he really saved me.
Right.
But so that was kind of my first bout with like, okay, I'm going to serve this because this is amazing and I love science and it's super creative and all these things. But then I had my own dark night of the soul where I basically felt like unzipping myself and just stepping out. I had burned myself out in all domains. It wasn't just building businesses. It was in my personal life. Oh gosh, in friendships, I needed to have better boundaries. I mean, all of these things. And the way it showed up for me and the way it shows up for a lot of people is through body things. My thyroid fell apart. I was literally had chronic fatigue. I would take my kids to school, come home, have to lay down for 4 hours before I could even see a client. And I thought, and depression was in there, and anxiety and all those things that just leave you basically laid out. And it was through that I realized, I can know all there is to know. And that's the myth, right?
Right.
Know all there is to know. And there was something really not in alignment for me. Like, what was that? Especially with the thyroid going out, right? Like, what needs to be vocalized for you?
Right.
What are you holding back? And so at the time that I was going through that, I was shifting in my business to be more of a transformational coach and using that functional medicine as a tool. But then also energetically and spiritually, what I was going through is I was breaking down all these paradigms that were brought in through my immigrant family, that were not mine to own. Narratives that had been passed down, not even verbally. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in that cellular DNA, that I was like trying to like find my place,
Right.
because I knew the buck stopped with me. Like,
Right.
I am not passing this on to my children. They're all teenagers now. And
Right.
they weren't at the time, but I was like, not doing that. Like, I'll take the good, but I was struggling with deciphering the good.
Right.
I needed help with that. So I ended up finding a coach. Actually, she was an intuitive medium that just really got me out of that dark space into a place where I could align soul and science, put it in frameworks and processes for clients, and then do what I'm doing now. So, it's never really always a beautiful process, right? It's
Right. Yes. Yes.
isn't it, really?
Yes. Yes. It's not always a beautiful process, but I feel like when you've tapped into your true purpose, every bit of the process
Mm,
feeds and supports what you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do, because then you can come from a different place of understanding, right?
yes.
You can say, I know where you are. You're not just helping them from an outside view. You have an inside view of exactly how they're feeling in that moment and where their mind is in that moment. And then they can look at you, hear your story, and then you're saying to them, this is where you can get, because we both know depression is literally not being able to see past where you are in that moment, right? Depression is
100%.
just a means of hopelessness. It's like, it's just not going to get any better than this, right? So you're helping
Mhm.
somebody that's in that point, and you're saying, hey, look, I was where you are, but look, if you get on the other side of this, it actually gets better. We can
Yeah.
actually fix this. This situation is not hopeless. So yeah, I totally get it. So I believe that everything in our paths, when you're truly walking in purpose, is something that was meant to build and strengthen that purpose so you can show up as your best self for everyone.
100%, 100%. And again, saying that, it's not always easy. The hardest part for me, to be honest with you, was that I needed to actually be really, really honest with myself.
Right.
It was one thing to go on. I could have kept going on and still had a clinic and all of that. But being honest with myself, just with that professional life, but then the peace with my family, like, oh, I really don't like the way you treat me. And you know what I mean? And that's
Right.
not
Yeah.
a thing to do. Being that honest, it's hard, and going through that step takes a lot of really grace. And for me, it was just like divine, because I'll never forget, a girlfriend called me one day and I was laying in my bed, thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this again today? And she was like, it was just miraculous, actually. She's like, Trish, listen, here's what you're going to do. And all she did was give me like 3 steps. They were really basic. Like, I needed
Right.
to call. This isn't okay. And it was like, wow, the fact that I didn't feel alone, and someone could witness and hear me in this struggle. And
Right.
again, not judge it, but it allowed me to be really, really honest. And from that honesty, when it was like, hey, there is nowhere else to go now. I mean, like, and when you hit that, you can feel it in your soul.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, yeah, this is it. It's do or die at this point. Yeah, this is this is it. Yeah.
If I like share this, quote unquote, then
Right.
it's all out there. But really, that's a relief. It was a relief for me that I wasn't really satisfied in many realms of my life. But we put on these images, and we do these things that even our family expect, or we might, socially, actually it's constructed as well. And so we think it's we should ourselves.
Right.
But it was really, really getting honest with myself, like, hey, what is an even playing field for you? And what would bring you joy? Truly.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, that's
Now I am excited and totally stoked about what your answer to this next question is going to be. I can only imagine, so I'm preparing myself.
all right.
So our golden question is: the person you're purposed to serve crosses your path, and it's your one and only opportunity to make an impact on their life or their business. What would you say to them? It's your opportunity to talk to them right now.
Gosh, wow, that's a huge question. I think I would start by asking, number one, are they in alignment with themselves and their business? Are they very clear on who it is that they coach, who it is that they are called to coach? And then if it was a yes, I would say awesome, because being in alignment and coupling that with integrity shows me that there are 7 pillars in their life that are all intact. Those are human connection, spirituality, purpose, joy, creativity, activity, and environment. And the fact that those 7 pillars would be in alignment is a blessing to the world. Go and do your thing.
Right.
Yeah, why would I wouldn't even disturb that, actually, because if that is in line, that's awesome. Please speak up. Now, if they need support with that, in getting their pillars in alignment, getting clarity, giving themselves permission, allowing themselves to transmute and transform and pivot, then I'm your gal.
I absolutely love it. I knew I'd love the answer. I just knew. And just so everyone knows, or just a reminder, the people that I interview, these coaches making impact, they don't know what these questions are. So when they come on, it's 100% genuine from the soul answers that you receive. So I absolutely love it. So if you see me having certain wow facial expressions, it's because I'm getting blessed at the same time you are, because I have no idea what the answers are going to be. So thank you so much for such a soul-filled interview. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to touch and bless someone. But I also know that after hearing this, there's no way there's not someone out there that's going to want to continue the conversation with you. So how do they do that?
100%. Find me on Instagram at the Soulful Nutritionist. Shoot me a DM, or you are happy to go to trishward.net and fill out just the contact info, and myself or Jenny will get back to you.
All right, absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for being a coach out there that's actually making impact on the world. We need more like you. Until next time, thank you. Okay, guys, this is Aneri Bellamy, and you've had another episode of Coaches Making Impact. Thank you until next time.